The last day of summer and the final night game in the history of this ballpark is tonight. The Salt Lake Bees square up with Oklahoma City for Game 5 of this 6-game series. Good evening, everyone. Tony Parks with you. These two teams have evened out their series after Salt Lake put together the timely hits and the timely defensive plays last night, and the fans were able to come through as well. Terrific support for our wonderful families during Gold Night. The hugs, the smiles, and the donations truly going a long way. Thanks to everyone who was a part of such a special evening. Tucker Flint has enjoyed another great game in this ballpark as he started the scoring with a 2-run double in the first inning last night. That was his fourth two-bagger of the series. He has certainly loved Smith's Ballpark in the short amount of time that he has been playing here, but Salt Lake's lead was cut to 1, and then they had some clutch defensive plays. Travis McGregor picked off Lipsius at second base with the bases loaded. The Bees got some key insurance runs in the 7th with some infield singles, and it started to show some speed playing into their favor. Those back-to-back infield singles, then the double steal, leading to a throwing error, putting the Bees up by the score of 5-3. Willie Calhoun, an RBI single in that 7th. It gave the Bees a 6-3 lead as Kyron Paris would come around to score. Bees held on to a 6-3 advantage into the 9th when Hans Kraus gave up a solo homer, but then retired 3 of the next 4, and the Bees would go on to win by the final score of 6-4. Big smiles from absolutely everyone, a great celebration, and a walk-off homer at the end of the night to start off the fireworks. The pitching matchup for tonight, Tony Gonsolin for Oklahoma City continues to rehab right here in the AAA level. This is his 3rd appearance through 50 pitches against Tacoma last week, giving up 2 runs and 2 2/3. John O'Reilly for the Bees made 10 starts with Rocket City this year. John pitched a scoreless 9th, helping the Bees win the first game of this series back on Tuesday. For more on the Bees starter, here's Sammy Miller.
Tony, one of John O'Reilly's biggest attributes is he is an elite competitor. Whether it's on or off the field, he wants to win at whatever he does. Now, growing up, he was a part of a very competitive household as he has an older brother and an older sister, so the 3 of them were always playing all types of sorts of games in the house, and they wanted to beat each other in every single thing they did, especially his older brother, Mike. Now, there's a 4-year age difference, so John was always trying to find ways to beat Mike, and he attributes a lot of that to how he was raised, to how he performs on the mound. He has that competitive urge every single time he goes out, and that will be huge tonight, Tony, as they're looking to get the 3-2 in this series.
Yeah, trying to break that tie here tonight. When we come back, we'll have the final fireworks Bees game at this stadium as Salt Lake hosts Oklahoma City right here on KMYU. Well, welcome here to Smith's Ballpark, and what a way to start this thing off tonight. Gail Miller. Those 2 favorite words we all love to hear. Play ball indeed. The final night game here at this stadium. The final game tomorrow afternoon at 1300 South and West Temple. Fireworks tonight for the last time at a Bees game. John O'Reilly on the mound, getting the start today for the Salt Lake Bees. Alex Freeland stepping in. He's going to lead things off tonight. Steps into that left-hand batter's box. It is the Bees. It is Oklahoma City. It's a Saturday night. We're at the ballpark, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Here comes the first pitch from O'Reilly, and it's ball 1. 6:36 is our first pitch time tonight. Another beautiful evening. It's the final night of summer officially, but it really does feel like fall. 72 degrees. Time and temperature brought to you by Interform, proud sponsor of the Salt Lake Bees. Interform, a one-source solution for all your company's branding needs, including printing, signage, apparel, and promotional items. John O'Reilly out there tonight for Salt Lake, a guy who had 10 total starts there with Rocket City. Speaking of Rocket, this ball's rocketed out deep to left. Wallace is at the wall, leaps up, and it's off the wall. In with a double is going to be Alex Freeland. He has had a home run in each of his last 3 games, and he has batted .458 during his past 6 games coming into today. So a 2-bagger to get things started there for Alex Freeland. That is his 6th overall during the year. Dalton Rushing now to the plate. And Dalton Rushing did not play in yesterday's game, 3 for 10 in this series with a run batted in. Takes for ball one. The defensive alignment tonight, Wallace in left, Flint in center, Ketchup is in right. Stevens in the hot corner with Soto at short, Paris at second base, Matheny at first. Humphreys behind the dish, John O'Reilly is on the mound. That's to center field and back. Flint is on the move at the track, and this ball's gone. Dalton Rushing, his 8th home run of the season, the 2024 Branch Rickey Minor League Player of the Year in the Dodgers system, has hit a 2-run homer for a 2-0 lead. Well, congratulations to Dalton Rushing on that award, and wasted no time here today to come through in a big way. His 8th home run while he's been with Oklahoma City. He was looking to have OKC respond in a big way after getting down 4-0 right out of the gate yesterday. Back-to-back hard hit balls, one off the wall, one over the wall. 2-0 the score. Andre Lipsius takes a strike. Lipsius 1 for 5. Struck out 3 times in last night's game. He's 5 for 20 in this series. Driving in 3. Lipsius fouls this one off, 0-2. Lipsius has 152 hits this season. That is the most in the Pacific Coast League. Lipsius takes outside. Batting .293 against the Bees overall this year. 26 doubles, 25 home runs. There's O'Reilly, the 1-2. Lipsius flares this one down the right field line. Could be trouble on the move. Ketchup right by the chalk line makes the catch. For out number 1, great hustle by Ketchup. He has terrific speed out there. He put that speed on display yesterday with an infield single, also on a big double steal. Would eventually score on that same play after a throwing error. So Bees down 2-0. Here's Ryan Ward. Hit his 7th triple. He is 5th in the Pacific Coast League. In 3 baggers, but goes deep to right on this one, and it is gone. Solo home run for Ryan Ward. That's his 32nd of the year. He now has 99 runs batted in. It's a 3-0 Oklahoma City lead. Well, for Ryan Ward, he comes into tonight. That is his 61st extra base hit. That's the 2nd most in the league as well. What a start here for OKC. Big swings of the bat early and often. That is their 17th home run in their last 9 games, and then this inning. So it's like last 9 games and an inning. Incredible. Started to pour it on here a bit early with some just big swings of the bat. It's 3-0. John O'Reilly still trying to settle in here. It's 1-1. O'Reilly is a guy that did not start a lot. Spent the first 5 years of his career in the Pirates organization. Was eventually in AAA. In the 21, 22, and 23 season with Indianapolis, he had pitched to an ERA of .596. But he didn't start a ton in his career before then. He made just 5 total starts all the way up to that time. That was over the course of 173 games. O'Reilly, born and raised in New Jersey, stayed in the state to play his collegiate ball there at Rutgers. Had 4 years with the Scarlet Knights. 2-2. Back towards the middle and into center field, a base hit. James Outman, who has an extra base hit in each of his last 5 games. This one a single, but has batted .357 over his last 10 games. This is his 8th hit of the series. He's now 8 for 18 overall this week. And even though this has been a 2-2 series, some guys out there for OKC have had some great offensive performances. Oklahoma City scored 20 runs in game 2 of this series, and then another 9 in game number 3. The Bees won game 1, they won game 4, and it was OKC taking the middle 2. Alan Trejo, 1 for 3 with a run batted in last night. 6 for 17 in this series with a triple, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. 0-1. Down the line in right, slicing foul above the Bees bullpen. And O'Reilly, who signed with the Angels as a free agent back in April after a week in the Complex League, joined Rocket City. 24 games with them, 10 starts. An ERA of 3.64, 62 Ks, 18 walks, and 71 2/3 innings. This is an important promotion for him and for many others. We usually highlight promotions for guys who make it to the major league level, as we should. But this is an important late season promotion for O'Reilly and a number of other guys on this Bees roster to arrive here from Rocket City or Tri-City. Count is a ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. James Outman is 11 for 12 stealing bases so far this year. Out to his lead at first base. And the 1-2 is down and away. Now for the Bees, amazing that they have been able to put together some of the timely offense in this series, because they have now gone 8 straight games without a home run. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Alan Trejo down on strikes, 2 out. With 1 on, it brings up Austin Gauthier. This is another winning season for Oklahoma City. They're 76 and 72 overall on the year, 37 and 36 in the second half. Gauthier takes outside, 1 for 4 yesterday, struck out 3 times. It's the 20th time in 26 years in the Bricktown era that this team has had a winning record, 11 of the last 12 seasons. That's a very successful years in the Mixer Bowl of that. 8 out of 9 as the Dodgers affiliate. This is the 4th straight year that they've clinched a winning road record to go with it as well. They have the 2nd most wins away from home. 2-0, softly bounced on 2 hops to Stevens at third. He'll throw to first in time. The inning is over. Some big swings of the bat here early for Oklahoma City. Dalton Rushing. Outfielders establishing things with the bat. Now going to try to settle in with the glove. Rushing with a big home run. Same thing with Ward. Back in the top of the first. Now B stepping up here in the bottom of the first. It's Caleb Ketchup to lead things off against Tony Gonsolin. Gonsolin, 3rd appearance here. His rehab start. It's fouled back from Caleb Ketchup. 1 for 3 with a base on balls yesterday. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Bees, brought to you by Zions Bank. For banking that covers all the bases, Zions Bank is for you. The 3rd appearance during this Major League rehab assignment. He most recently pitched against Tacoma. They're at home. 2 2/3 innings. Gave up 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out 3, had 1 walk. 15 batters and 50 pitches. He may throw somewhere between 40 and 50 tonight. Underwent Tommy John back in September of 23. He's spent this entire 24 season rehabbing. Ketchup, left center. Going back though is going to be Outman, and he's got it at the edge of the track for out number 1. Here comes Kyron Paris. Kyron Paris 0 for 2, a pair of walks yesterday. He's 2 for 11 in this series. Gonsolin had 20 starts with the Dodgers last season prior to his injury. He was 8 and 5 with a 4.98 ERA. Made 24 starts with the Dodgers in 22, and let's not forget he was in the Major League Baseball All-Star game that year. 2020 he was a rookie, finishing 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. He was named MLB Rookie of the Year by Baseball America. 4 postseason appearances that year, including 2 in the World Series. Check swing. No, he didn't. And the count is 1-1. He was drafted by the Dodgers in the 9th round of the 16 Major League Draft from St. Mary's College. He's had some rehab assignments with Oklahoma City, both last year, the year before, and the year before that. Called strike 2 against Kyren Paris. Three nothing OKC, bottom of the first inning. That was a 55-footer in the dirt. Might have been a 50-footer in the dirt. Well short of home plate. And it's 2-2. Well, the Bees offensively missing the long ball. No doubt about that. 8 straight games without a home run. In game 1, they scored 11 runs, and all of that without a homer. The count is now full. All 11 of those runs in that performance on Tuesday night scored with 2 outs in the inning. Comes the 3-2 from Gonsolin. Fouled straight back to the screen. We'll do it again. Well, it's amazing looking out there tonight. So many fans out there on the berm. There is an amazing vibrance in this ballpark and in this area all throughout this past week and really throughout the month. But you can feel it during this series. Called strike 3. Paris thought it was ball 4. He started to move towards first base. And so Dexter Kelly, with the announcement, the replay says it was strike 3. And so Kyren Paris down on strikes. Dexter Kelly behind the plate. Ty Krause at first. Edwin Jimenez is there at third base. 2 out, nobody on. Here's Cole Tucker. Batting from the left-hand side, switch hitter. Cole Tucker did not play in the game last night. In at third is Trejo. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Tucker 0 for 6 in the series with a couple of walks. The last time the Bees had a home run, it was that series opener September 10th against El Paso. It's down the line foul. They actually had 3 that night. Kyren Paris, Chad Wallach, Shane Matheny. They have hit just 10 home runs total since the calendar turned over to September. That is last in the Pacific Coast League, tied for 27th among all 30 teams in AAA. Now, part of that is how good Oklahoma City has been in this area. Their pitchers have allowed just 7 home runs in the month of September. That is the lowest. So the Bees have struggled hitting the long ball. Oklahoma City has not given up many. As a matter of fact, they've given up 126 all year. That is the fewest. Infield tilted to the right. 3-0 OKC. The 2-2 is cut on a miss, strike 3. The inning is over. Bees go down in order in the first. We go to the second. Oklahoma City on top. For the Salt Lake Bees, 105. We'll have it here for you on KMYU, but let's get serious here. You want to be at the ballpark to experience this. Diego Cartaya at the plate, 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday. Count is even at 1-1. This place special for so many reasons. In that day game tomorrow, tickets are just $5. So go to slbees.com. Get those tickets for tomorrow. It is supposed to be an absolutely magnificent day. It's the first day of fall. Bark in the park. You're going to have a lot of pups out there. 76 degrees tomorrow. And I have always said there is nothing like a Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, especially when you get weather like that. Foul tipped into the glove, 2-2. Cartaya is 1 for 7 in this series, batting just 111 over his last 15 games. But get here early and make sure you're a part of that historic day. Backwards K called strike 3. Down goes Cartaya. Chris Oakey coming to the plate now. You take a look at what we have had for Bark in the Park in the past. It is such a great experience. For the fans out there on that left field berm. Bumble always having a great time with the pups. There's great water stations out there. It's everything the dogs are going to want. You even get a Bees branded bandana from Shields. And a big thanks to Shields for their great work in making that a reality. Opposite field ground ball into right field. The base hit. Welcome back, Chris Oakey. His first game since August 23rd. First pitch swinging and a single for Oakey. It has to feel so good for him to make his way on back out here. A member of the Salt Lake Bees just last season. So to be here in this ballpark and do it. But out there on the berm, you know it's going to be a wonderful afternoon. It's a great night tonight. The blankets to be out there. You love that you get to just set up your spacing as Freeland takes a called strike. Alex Freeland, a double off the wall back in the first inning. He's down 3-0. Pitch to Freeland. It's outside, but you think about the wonderful areas to hang out and sit down. You want to get here early. I would say get your concessions early. Watch all the pregame presentations that are going to be a part of it. You know they're going to take you down memory lane. But also make sure to visit so many different pockets with such great memories. Whether taking the kids on the train, you get to come on the field after the game. And you get to run the bases one last time. Counts 2-1. Freeland fouls that off. Freeland has had a great series, by the way. As he is 9 for 18 in this series with 3 home runs. That train has been the star of the show for many families. There's actually a great premium seating area that's open to the fans down the left field line. People go down there, they get their tables, and then that is the same spot that the kids line up for the train. So they can hang out there. They got an eye on their kiddo while they're on the train. Ground ball sharply hit to second. Paris to Soto for 1. On to first. Not in time. Bees get the lead runner. And Freeland is at first now with 2 down. Well, Paris and Soto have been a great double play tandem. That ball hit a little softer than I had realized, and Paris did have to range over to his left, so by no means was it routine 4.63. With these two, you never know. They are quick with it. And those two actually had a great combination. Dalton Rushing, who hit the 2-run homer in the first inning. Hits one back through the middle into center field here in the second. Rushing turns and burns from second. He's going to go first to third. And they're on the corners now with 2 out in the top of the second inning. So second hit of the game for Dalton Rushing. And John O'Reilly has had his work cut out for him here today. This is a very good offensive team here as of late. A number of them came into this series with some quality success, and they've carried that over here in the series this week. Lipsy has flied out to right field. Lipsy has fouls it back to the screen. Kyron Paris was very young when he stepped into spring training for one of the first times. Elliot Soto, a guy who'd been in professional baseball for 13 seasons going into this year. Paris talked about how Elliot Soto was one of the absolute best, being a terrific mentor. He said he was so unselfish in the way that he was able to help him with little things to just increase his chances for greatness. And he said, a guy with that much experience, you listen to everything he has to say, but it's Elliot Soto's unselfishness and the way he cares for teammates that really carried and had a great impression on Kyron Paris. Well, they worked a lot together. This is a few years ago. They worked a lot together there in the spring, and they just built this really wonderful chemistry, this unspoken language and a synergy. And it really pops out to you when you watch them work, turning to and playing great defense with the middle of that infield. Before the 1-2, a timing violation on John O'Reilly, the pitcher. The count is 2-2. But not many of us really knew that before they both arrived here once again in the Angels organization and then here with the Bees. I mean, they just picked up right where they left off. It was so smooth back in June and July. And so when I'd asked Kyron about that, he told me that story. He said there was this great emotional trust between Paris and Soto, and it was built through a veteran who in no way was trying to show off how important he was. He just simply wanted to help a younger player be successful. Count is full with 2 down. Rushing is going to get a head start at first. And it's fouled off by Lipsius. Will do it again. Lipsius, a .248 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Nobody covering the bag at first with the head start for Rushing. Count full, 2 down, top 2, 3-0 Oklahoma City. It's off the end of the bat. And Dalton Rushing is getting into his wind sprints there today. Make that jog back to first. Here comes Ryan Ward on deck. And O'Reilly is hoping that Ward will just lead off the third. He's trying to close down the second. Lipsius takes upstairs, ball 4. The bases are now loaded for Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward has 22 at-bats this year with the bases loaded. 4 for 22. 2 doubles. He had a solo home run back in the first. Bees down 3-0. And a big moment here in this second inning. 2 out, bases full. Ward takes for ball 1. He has the 3rd most runs batted in the Pacific Coast League. 61 extra base hits, including that home run tonight. It was his 2nd homer of this series. That was the 4th time that he has homered against the Bees this year. .2-0 the count, 3-0 the score. And now the count is 3-0 as well. O'Reilly down 3-0 in the count with nowhere to put him. Nobody in the PCL with more home runs than Ryan Ward. It's ball 4. And a run is walked in here in the top of the second inning. It's a 4-0 ball game. It was a long hold there for a second by Ward, and then also from the catcher Humphreys. That pitch missed away. So Humphreys out to talk to O'Reilly here at this moment. America First Credit Union can help you get your money working harder if you're a fan of better service, lower fees, and doing more with every dollar you earn, save, or spend. Head to AmericaFirst.com and join the home team today. So James Outman, who singled back in the first inning, was eventually stranded. Outman has been outstanding as of late. Batting .357 his last 10 games with 9 extra base hits. He has an extra base hit in each of his last 5. 2 for 4 with the bases loaded, including a double and a triple this year. Back through the middle, center field, base hit. In to score from third is Rushing. Lipsius coming behind him. The throw from Flynn is cut off. It's a 2-run single from James Outman. And Oklahoma City has jumped out to a 6-0 lead. .45 runs batted in now on the year for James Outman. The Bees have been in some trouble here in the early innings. Against Oklahoma City, they jumped all over the Bees in game 2 with some early runs. Same thing In game number 3, after the first 6 were retired in that game 3, they had a huge third inning. It's the first and second now with 3 spots in each of them. Called strike to Alan Trejo. Trejo struck out in the first inning. He is 1 for 9, or I should say, excuse me, he's 1 for 3 yesterday with a run batted in. He's 6 for 18 in this series. Takes outside. He has one of this team's home runs during this week as well, to go with what was his first triple of the season. Two down, 2 on. 2-1. Alan Trejo this year hoping for better luck with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, hitting just a $185. O'Reilly deals. It's now a 3-1 count. Quiet in the bullpen right now for the Bees. Salt Lake has struggled this year with their starts throughout the month of September. Trejo to the opposite field, line drive, base hit. In to score from third on the play is Ryan Ward. James Outman up to second. It's an RBI single for Alan Trejo, and Oklahoma City leads it 7-0. Four runs here in the second inning. Gauthier is the 9th hitter to come to the plate. Zach Humphreys giving signals, the catcher. For the Bees in the month of September, only 5 starts have gone deeper than the 4th inning during the 17 games played this month. Some of that, as the first pitch is in for a strike, some of that has been because the rotation has been hurt a bit by guys getting called up, and that's a great thing, no doubt about it. But a number of bullpen days have been needed. The 0-1 deep to right. Going back on it is Ketchup at the track. Makes the catch. The inning is over, but another 4 runs for Oklahoma City. They do it on 4 hits. No errors and 2 left. We head to the bottom of the second. 7-0 Oklahoma City on KMYU. A ground ball to the opposite side, but this guy just continues to do what his team needs him to do. He's trying to take advantage of that late season promotion now here at the AAA level. Tony Gonsolin, second inning of work here. It was a 1-2-3 first inning against the Bees. It's a 7-0 OKC lead. Called strike here to Tucker Flynn. Oklahoma City is named the Oklahoma City Baseball Club this year. They will have a new mascot name coming up next year. I did try to find out if they have decided on a name. The answer was yes. They did not tell me what it was. I would not have said it on the air, but just to be sure, they kept it from me. They're in the Dodgers organization. A number of guys with great contributions to this team. Both these teams had some hot stretches in the second half of the year. We know about Salt Lake's 12-game win streak that took place in July. Oklahoma City, who appeared to be really well from the outside looking in on the playoff race, started to make it more and more interesting as we were towards the final chapters of the year. But the Reno Aces had the final say. They had a massive win streak there at the start of the second half of the year, and then began to heat up in the later part of that. Sugar Land took the first half. Flint, high and deep down the left field line. Rushing, looks up and over, and it's out of play. Love this time of the night. This is the last night game for the Bees here. This was always that time of night that was great. The entire outfield, the entire field covered in the shade, but there's still enough of that natural sunlight. You can kind of feel that the sun and the lights are both doing half the work. Swinging and a miss, strike 3. 3 strikeouts in a row right now for Tony Gonsolin. One down here at the bottom of the second. Here's Elliott Soto. Here's Elliott Soto. 0 for 3 yesterday, but brought in a run. Takes a called strike. 1 for 9 with a double in this series. Pair of walks and 4 runs batted in. Comes the 0-1. Soto, fly ball to right. Ballpark's going to hold it as Ward camps under it for out number 2. Well, earlier today, it was manager Keith Johnson throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. This guy, so many games as manager of the Salt Lake Bees in a number of different stints. He also knows this business so well. The emotional trust that he builds with his players is something that the players talk about a lot. Matheny fouls it through the first base coach's box. 2-1. And you can sense it from the moment they arrive. He knows what their passions are. He knows what their dreams are. And his whole focus is to try and help them live out their dream to the best of their ability. And every inch matters. Nobody is here earlier. Nobody works harder out there on the field. Not only would KJB out on the field in, say, the early afternoon working with his players, he was out there in the early morning hours many times on this field working with his daughter, who's a college softball player. I mean, he loves this game. He also loves this team, and he loves this city. Fly ball to left center. Rushing with the call and with the shaky catch out there in left field. Communication between Rushing and Outman a little wobbly, but they make the play. Manager Keith Johnson trots off the field. His team down 7-0 as we go to the third. Former member of the Salt Lake Stingers and a man that definitely is one of the biggest and best names in the history of Smith's Ballpark. 7-0 OKC. Diego Cartaya leads off the inning. He's a .279 hitter when leading off an inning. 3 of his home runs this season have been leadoff homers. He struck out back in the second inning. But while I was the MC here, I got a chance to connect with every visiting broadcaster that would make their way through here. They always mentioned it. Russ Langer, the voice of the Las Vegas Aviators. This ball's popped up right side of the infield. Paris wants it. He's got it. 1 down. Brings up Chris Oakey. But they always mention that. They said they look forward to coming here as much as any other place just for the view alone. And Steve Klauke, who sat in this exact seat for 29 years, talked about that. Had a chance to fill in for him several times before taking over the job this year. It is something that will never get old, the view of those mountains. And something that will never be forgotten is the friendship of Steve Klauke. Called strike to Chris Oakey. You just look out at them. You see them during those games in April and May. They're snow-capped. Then not so much throughout that July and August. Maybe a little bit now here as we get towards the middle and now late September. Oakey fouls it back. Chris Oakey, big high five to him with that single back in the second inning. This is his first game back since August the 23rd. Infield back, outfield straight away. 7-0 Oklahoma City. Oakey starts after it but takes high. I've mentioned this before, but you can sense with the way that the fans are here. Coming to the game, wanting to see their team win for sure. But there's no doubt you can sense their passion for that one last memory here. Oakey launches deep to left field. Wallace going to the track, and it's a home run. Chris Oakey, in his first game back since August 23rd, starts his night with a single and now has a solo home run. That's his second long ball of the season, and he's given Oklahoma City an 8-0 lead. Guy who played his ball here last season. So Chris Oakey bites the hand that once fed him. The solo homer over the left field wall. That is now the third home run of the night for Oklahoma City. They have 18 home runs in their last 10 games. That includes tonight's game. Number one hitter in the order, Alex Freeland, has scored twice tonight, had a leadoff double to start off the game. That's to center field, and Flint is there to make the grab. 2 down here in the top of the third, as Oklahoma City has scored in every single inning up to this point. Now, there's only one way to listen to America's pastime. It's with an ice-cold Bud, because those who share the same spirit share the same beer. Budweiser is Bud's for you, official beer partner of Bees Baseball. Dalton Rushing is 2 for 2. Takes a called strike. Rushing a 2-run homer in the first inning. And how great was that for him to be honored as Dodgers Minor League Player of the Year, the Branch Rickey Minor League Player of the Year in the Dodgers organization. 0-2 the count now. So Rushing, who has scored twice, has been on base twice. And OKC, who had 20 runs in Game 2 of this series, has 8 already here tonight. And it's bounced foul. First base on deck circle. Do it again now at 0-2. Now the Bees and OKC with that finale tomorrow. Gates are going to open at 12:05. Tickets are just $5. Get your tickets at slbs.com as we take the ticket pricing from all the way back in 1994. And you can't forget the excitement that was in this city when it was not just a new ballpark, it was a new level of play. So 1-2 is high. See, because before that, sure, you had baseball here, and you had many Trapper fans. And the Trappers won their Pioneer League titles throughout the time that they were in Salt Lake. But it was a whole new chapter of baseball. That's skied high and deep to right. Dalton Rushing has done it again. His second home run of the night. He didn't win the Minor League Player of the Year for nothing in this organization. Third hit of the night as well. Third run batted in. It's 9-0 Oklahoma City. That'll bring up Andre Lipsius. Well, that ball right off the bat, you knew it. I mean, it was high and deep and just to the right of the scoreboard on the backside of the berm. Lipsius 0 for 1. He walked in the second and scored. Takes a strike. But the new level of play was now AAA baseball. And you notice the difference right away. The Salt Lake Buzz jumped in here, and it was great watching so many affiliates make their way through. My first game here was between the Buzz and the Albuquerque Dukes. What was a fantastic ball game for the first 8 innings, and then with the Buzz having a 5-3 lead, the Dukes put up a 10 spot. And that was when I certainly learned that PCL stands for playing shoots and ladders. The 0-2 is away. But the talent was just terrific. And the talent that has made its way through here from both the home team and the visiting teams has been special to watch. Alex Rodriguez has been a part of it. Albert Pujols, David Ortiz, Torrey Hunter. The names go on and on and on, no doubt. 2 more homers tonight for Oklahoma City. They have 19 in their past 10 games. It was Oakey with a homer, Rushing with a solo blast. It's 9-0, Oklahoma City in command. The final night game in the history of Smith's Ballpark. The Salt Lake Bees trying for an early inning bounce back here. They're down 9-0. Not only have they not scored, they're still looking for their first base runner of the night. Tony Gonsolin out there for his third inning of work in this rehab assignment. He's looked great here up to this point. Zach Humphreys 0 for 1 yesterday. Took over for Chad Wallach after, I believe Wallach might have come out of the game after what was that bizarre 3-9-3 putout with the broken bat, where Freeland checked on Wallach and then was eventually thrown out at first base. 1-2, one of the stranger plays you'll ever see. Humphreys 2 leadoff homers so far this year. 2 of his 3. His other home run was an extra innings big swing of the bat that helped them get a win at Round Rock. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Out of town scoreboard, Bucks took on the Reds today in Cincinnati. Elly De La Cruz, bottom of the 4th, 3-run blast to right field, 25th of the season. Reds went on to win today by the final score of 7-1. On to the Windy City, Joey Gallo, top of the 6th, turning back the clock with a fly ball over the ivy, putting the Nats up by the score 5-0. They would come out on top 5-1. There's your out-of-town scoreboard here tonight. Take a look at the rest of what's happened in the Bigs. Busy night in the Bigs, especially with the intense races for the postseason. Chad Stevens fouls it off 1-1. San Francisco dominated the Royals today, 9-0. Jonathan Aranda, 2-run homer for the Rays. Tampa Bay got by the Jays 3-2 in their first strike, 1-2. Stevens 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 7 so far in the series. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Cut on a miss, strike 3. That is the 5th punch out here so far for Tony Gonsolin. He has looked magnificent. His first time through the order, at least the first 8, is now the number 9 hitter, Landon Wallace, comes to the plate. For Gonsolin, who knew it was going to be 40 or 50 pitches, it has been a very efficient 35 so far. Mets rallied today against the Phils, and they get the win 6-3. First pitch high to Landon Wallace. 2 for 4 yesterday. He is 6 for 16 in this series. A double, a triple, 3 runs batted in. You can really sense that he has found his footing offensively since being at the AAA level. He works tirelessly at improving his game. Oh, let's go with the bat there. Well, right when I say he's finding his footing offensively, he has the rare miscue where the bat slips out of his hand. Happens to the best of them. Braves a 6-2 win at the Marlins. Matt Olson, a 2-run home run put him ahead. Fun game today in Baltimore. Riley Green, a 10th inning base knock to put the Tigers ahead. And Detroit would win over the Orioles 6-4 in extras. Game still going on right now. Mariners a 5-4 lead at Texas. They're in the top of the 7th. Angels having a tough one at Houston, trailing 10-2. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Minute Maid. Wallace ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike now. Bottom of the 8th in Milwaukee. Diamondbacks leading over the Brewers 3-0. Wallace takes low. Count is 3-1. Bees looking for their first base runner here of the night. Here's Gonsolin with the 3-1. Swing and a miss, and the count is full. St. Louis with the lead over the Guardians, 6-4, top 8. Wallace ready, catch up on deck. Gonsolin, the 3-2. And it's upstairs. Base on balls for Landon Wallace. He's aboard. With 2 outs now here in the bottom of the third. Here's Caleb Ketchum. Caleb Ketchum is 5 for 21 in his time so far with Salt Lake, but he has definitely been able to show some of his explosive abilities. And last night, he really put that speed on display with an infield single. Then that double steal causing some stress with that speed led to a throwing error. He would eventually score. Those were really big insurance runs in last night's game. Now tonight, the Bees with their work cut out for them. They are down 9-0. In search of their first hit. Caleb Ketchum flied out to center field back in the first inning. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Landon Wallace there at first base. Guy with exceptional speed. He is 1 for 1 in the time. And he's been with Salt Lake stealing bases. Ketchum fouls it straight back to the screen. Padres on top of the White Sox 2-0. They're in the bottom of the third inning there. Heading to the second in the Coliseum. Yankees 2, A's 0. And the Dodgers trail at home against the Rocks 1-0 top 2. Ketchum swings and misses, strike 3, and what a terrific 3 innings of work for Tony Gonsolin. Does not give up a hit. He strikes out 6, and he holds the Bees down to nothing on the board as OKC is up 9-0. Fans, we get those tickets at slbees.com. A great food menu, and then also an expanded bar menu to go with it. Great views of the game. The brunch gets underway at 12. The game gets underway at 1:05. The fun will take place all day long. So join us for the Sunday brunch here at Smith's Ballpark tomorrow. You have to get a special ticket for that. So go to slbees.com. Fourth inning, Bees trail 9-0 against Oklahoma City. Ryan Ward, who has one of the team's 4 home runs on the day. Dalton Rushing has 2 of them. Chris Oakey, the former member of the Bees, with the other one. The 1-1 is high, 2 balls and a strike. Ward has reached base twice. He has scored twice. He has just had a terrific season. John O'Reilly out there for his 4th inning of work. Activity in the Bees bullpen right now. And the count is 3-1. Michael Darrell Hicks getting loose in the bullpen for the Bees. Talking with Coach Andy Hawkins at the moment. Foul back to the screen. It's 3-2. Three runs in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third for Oklahoma City. Here comes the 3-2 to Ryan Ward. Fly to the left side. It's foul and it's out of play. Reminder, your kids get to run around the bases after the game tomorrow. It's usually just Friday and Saturday, but with it being the final game of the year, the final game in this ballpark, they get to do it tomorrow as well. The postgame Kids Run brought to you by Shields. Launch to right and deep. It's the 5th homer of the night for OKC, the 2nd of the evening for Ryan Ward. It's a 10-0 lead. For Ryan Ward, his 33rd home run of the year. That's the most in the Pacific Coast League. What a start for Oklahoma City. And they have been pouring it on early and often here in Game 5. Right off the bat, no doubt about it. Smoked over the right field wall. That's going to be all for John O'Reilly. We'll tell you more about Michael Darrell Hicks when we come back. Bees down 10-0 here on KMYU. Michael Darrell Hicks on for the Salt Lake Bees right now as Salt Lake trails by the score of 10-0. Ryan Ward led off the inning with a home run. That is his 7th home run, by the way, to lead off an inning. For Darrell Hicks, 6'5" righty from Parkersburg, West Virginia. So Ward with 2 homers. Rushing with 2 homers. Chris Oakey with a home run. And Salt Lake has had an uphill climb here in the early going. against Oklahoma City. James Outman has reached base twice, including a 2-run single back in the second. And Outman, for him, it's been the extra base hits that's been a feature for him. So he has one in his last 5 games. He has one in each of them. 2-0 to Outman. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-1. Michael Darrell Hicks, I think, showed great poise and great maturity in the recent stretch of pitching when he has been out there. It's a 2-1. He's on the outside corner for a strike. Darrell Hicks had 4 straight performances, which combined to be what was right around 10 innings or so, and he only gave up 1 earned run. Pitches outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sugar Land Series, he had a scoreless inning. Then had a 2 scoreless inning performance when he struck out 3. Gave up 1 earned in a outing against Sacramento. Then was outstanding against Sacramento. Starts this performance with a strikeout against Outman. 1 down here in the 4th. So he pitched so well. Then he has a game at El Paso. He goes out there and he induces a lot of ground balls. And in his 1 2/3 innings of work, it just so happens the ground balls that he was able to induce, they all found a hole. Then some soft contact that found a place to land. Trejo swings and misses. 0-1. What was impressive for Michael Darrell Hicks, 1 2/3 innings that day, 7 hits, 4 runs all earned. He really felt like he was doing all of the right things. It just so happened El Paso played well. And by the way, that's a part of this. You can look at box scores. You can look at a number of stats. Sometimes in this league, you do things well, and the guy on the other side is great because everybody at this level is a terrific ball player. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Had him fooled on it. Trejo way ahead of that. Well, after he gives up the 4 earned and 7 hits in 1 2/3, that work by him back on Tuesday, pitching the 7th and 8th inning, 2 scoreless innings, gave up 2 hits, punched out 2, went right back to being the best version of himself. He didn't overthink it. This is a grounded foul. He didn't suddenly worry about what went wrong. He was very confident in himself, and I thought it was just a great sign of maturity. Many times a player who they do the right things and they don't get the right result can start to overthink what they want to do differently or somehow believe they've been found out. Swing and a miss, strike 3. What a nice start to this outing for Darrell Hicks. The most important thing for Michael Darrell Hicks is just to continue to be himself. When he steps into this situation here, his team's down 10-0. He can't do anything about the deficit. He can't do anything about the offense trying to find something in the bottom half of the 4th. All he can do is just simply go up against Gauthier now, and it's a called strike. He has really narrowed such focus into winning each pitch, winning each plate appearance, then to win the inning and to try and help his team win the game. The 0-1. Foul off the right side of the screen above the dugout. This guy has been, a great pitcher this year in the Angels organization. And you can look at what he's done in terms of numbers and talk about how successful he's been with a number of different pitches. But I think that should be as encouraging as any sign for this organization. 3 straight strikeouts for Michael Darrell Hicks. Well done for Darrell Hicks. Back-to-back-to-back punch-outs as he steps in. Oklahoma City does get a run in the 4th inning. Well, there's nothing like this. The produce race here at Smith's Ballpark. You know when you get here, before you've arrived, or right as you're getting seated, you try to pick who you think is going to win in this produce race. Tonight, it was Corn on the Cob who took the title. Players from opposing teams throughout all the years that I was down there on the field used to ask me, hey, who's going to win? Because they would assume we had staff members that would go out there and perform, and they had assumed that those staff members would already predetermine who was going to win. And you knew they had side bets on this thing. Now, the truth is, every single night, those contestants were randomly selected. Kyron Paris takes a call at strike 2. Paris struck out back in the first inning. The new pitcher on for Oklahoma City here tonight as they go to the pen, Justin Robleski, 6'1" lefty from Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Count as a ball and 2 strikes. But that produce race, that's the one everybody asked about, how they could be a part of it. Who they thought, or they wanted intel on who was going to win. But each and every single time, that race was between 5 fans who were selected here at the ballpark. The other fun part was I would always meet the contestants before that contest happened. 1-2 outside. And usually they would have a lot of confidence and even some bravado, if you will. A little bit of that cockiness before they got started. Well, I was always the person who would get the guy who finished in last. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Paris down on strikes for the second time tonight. And hopefully he's okay. Take a look at Kyron Paris after this swing. Twisted around and then he leaned downward shortly after. Here's Cole Tucker. But usually the attitude of the contestant before we got started was very different than what they were like in the tunnel after they had finished in last and they were completely exhausted. It might be a 100-degree day. I think many contestants forgot how long that run really was. Also, opposing teams from the bullpen would line up to try and make absolutely certain that the produce items had to go over the mound. Cole Tucker fouls it back, 2-1. Tucker struck out in the first inning. But there was no promo looked forward to more than the Smith's produce race. It has been a huge part of the history here. Tucker rips it over the shortstop Freeland into left field. The Bees with their first base hit of the night here in the bottom of the 4th. Well, Cole Tucker batting for the right-hand side, the switch hitter. That's his first hit of this series as well. And the Bees have started cold offensively. Great to see them break out of it here in this moment. And while they face the huge 10-0 deficit, it's got to start somewhere. Here's Tucker Flint. Struck out in the second inning. Flint took a heavy cut but came up empty. And it's 0-1. Finishing that out-of-town scoreboard, we're looking at games in the PCL. Albuquerque and Reno tied at 3. They're in the bottom of the 9th. Tacoma, 1-0 lead at home against Round Rock, top 3. Just underway, scoreless. Sugar Land at Sacramento. The late game tonight, El Paso and Las Vegas. Flint bounces it foul. Nice grab by the on-deck batter, Elliot Soto. I mean, it doesn't matter what position Elliot Soto's playing. He's going to make a nice play. He lunged out to stab that with his bare hand. Lead at first, Tucker. In the box, Tucker Flint. In the dirt, blocked by Okie. Nicely done. Okie's had a nice offensive game to go with it. 2 for 2 with a single and a home run. That ball was well in front of the plate. It's one thing to have a pitch in the dirt. That thing was way out in front of home plate. 2-2, cut on a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout here of this inning for Robleski. Tony Gonsolin had 6 of them on the night. So we take a look at that final line for Tony Gonsolin. They were hoping 40 to 50 pitches for sure, but you weren't sure just how deep that would be for him to go into the game. He simply just walked the batter, didn't give up any runs, struck out 6, and he was very, very efficient. As he was making his 3rd rehab start since coming back from Tommy John. He's missed the entire year. Elliott Soto gave it a ride back in the 2nd inning, but flied out to right field. Here's the 0-1. To right field this time, but it's down for a hit. Tucker's going to take the turn and head for 3rd. Throw goes to the middle of the infield. Bees with runners at the corners now, with 2 down in the bottom of the 4th inning. Nice piece of hitting from Elliott Soto. It's his 2nd knock of the series. He was just 1 for 10 before smoking this ball out to right field. So the Bees with 2 singles here and 2 strikeouts in the 4th. Here is Shane Matheny. Shane Matheny, in the time he's been with Salt Lake, 7 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Matheny takes outside. 2 doubles in this series, 6 runs batted in. Could use a big swing of the bat here in this 4th. Swing and a miss, 1-1. The runner at 3rd, Tucker. Soto is at first, 10-0, Oklahoma City. Turns away from that one. It's 2-1. Wroblewski had a performance earlier in this series. As that's down and away. In the opener, they had a 1/3 of an inning. There in the 6th, the Bees scored 9 runs in that frame. Both teams have had big offensive moments in this series. That's a base on balls with 2 down. And the bases are now loaded for the Salt Lake Bees. Here comes Zach Humphreys. Chris Oakey out to talk to Wroblewski. And Wroblewski found himself in trouble in that 6th inning. After Choi left the game, Wroblewski gave up 2. Shortly after that, Little came in. He gave up 5 runs, all earned, and did not record an out. Sublette came in after that. That was a strange inning where 4 pitchers were on the mound for Oklahoma City. The Bees won that game 11-1. Zach Humphreys 1 for 3 with the bases loaded this year. Bees down 10-zip. First pitch, inside, ball 1. Humphrey struck out in the 3rd inning. A .278 hitter with runners in scoring position. Sacks full, 2 down. Bottom of the 4th inning. Now another meeting out here at the mound between Oakey and Wroblewski. Know the deficit is 10-0. And you would think to yourself, well, there's 2 down. Get what you can. In that 9-run inning the Bees had, that included Wroblewski, all 9 runs. They were not all against him, but all 9 runs in that inning were scored with 2 outs. All 11 of the runs that night were scored with 2 outs. And Humphreys, knowing that Wroblewski struggling a bit here with command, can get choosy with this 2-0 count, and the base is loaded. Comes the pitch. Fouls it back. 2-1. Zach Humphreys' dad, Mike Humphreys, played in this ballpark. He played for the Tacoma Rainiers against the Salt Lake Buds. He was the number 5 batter in the order. The guy who batted 4th was Alex Rodriguez. Humphreys takes for a called strike 2. So his dad also played with the New York Yankees throughout his career. Humphreys swings and misses, strike 3, and the Bees put together a productive inning, but they do not score. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 runners left on base. A big punch out by Wrobleski, and the Bees are down 10-0 as we go to the 5th. For right now, so Matheny moves to second, and it is Willie Calhoun at first. Calhoun taking over for Paris in the number 2 spot of the batting order. Here's Diego Cartaya, takes for ball 1. Michael Darrell Hicks out there for his second inning of work. We talked about his bounce-back ability and how he stayed within himself to have a great performance. In game 1 of this series, he had a terrific first inning of work tonight. After the solo homer from Ryan Ward, that was against John O'Reilly. Darrell Hicks struck out the next 3 in a row. Cartaya 0 for 2. As he struck out in the second, popped out to second base in the third. Comes the 2-1. Bounce foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Darrell Hicks, who joined us today for Miracle League Baseball out in South Jordan. He had a great time out there. He was joined by Hayden Sieg. Those 2 were absolutely magnificent with the special needs children. Some all-star level performances throughout the day. This 2-2 was popped up, right side, foul ground. Calhoun by the bullpen, Matheny giving chase. It's out of play, but Michael Darrell Hicks was wonderful with going well out of his way to have some great connections, not just with the special needs children, but their parents, making sure they felt like $1 million. He has a very natural ability to connect with a number of kids. Just missed, and it's 3-2. And so that natural ability to connect with them, it was shining through time and time again. He stayed for about 3 hours. It was an absolutely beautiful day. A 3-2. Crack bat, popped up floater, shallow. It drops in the middle of the infield. It'll be a single. That was about as perfectly placed as you can have it. Diego Cartaya is aboard. You can hear the crack of the bat, and that ball just simply floated up over Darrell Hicks from the mound and died between the mound and second base. Well, you take him any way you can get him if you're Diego Cartaya. Yesterday, we had a broken bat situation that was about as bizarre as any. We've had some interesting moments here in this series. Chris Oakey homered his last time up yesterday. One of the strangest plays you'll ever see. The broken bat there with Freeland, that's one thing. He checks on Wallach behind the plate, but doesn't realize it's off of the first baseman Flint, then out into right field. Ketchup goes to first, and they get him on the double play. That is going to be dribbled out into right field for a base hit. Back-to-back singles, about as softly hit as they can be, as it was actually off of Matheny on that 3-9-3 put out. Just the rarest put out that you will ever find. That's what happened yesterday, and I mentioned it yesterday. That's about as rare a play as we're ever going to find. Well, these last 2 have been about as rare to have them back-to-back like that. Look at this. Oakey thought that was bad news. He had a hard time locating that ball. Then he finds it and is able to get aboard. Well, it's been a great night for Oakey. He's 3 for 3. And even Oakey is saying, man, first of all, I thought it was a pop-up. Then I thought best case scenario it was a foul ball. Little do I know it found a hole, and I have my 3rd hit of the day. 1-0 is in there for a strike. Well, we talk about Darrell Hicks just simply going back to work to do the right things. These are about as unfortunate of hits to give up as possible. Soft contact, but he has his work cut out against Freeland. This guy is red hot. He goes to left, drifting back. Wallace at the track. He makes the catch. 1 down. So Freeland, who had a double to start off his night, since then a fielder's choice, fly out to center and now to left. Well, here's Dalton rushing. As Freeland, every time he puts the bat on the ball, you hold your breath there a bit. He has been so hot as of late. Dalton rushing has been red hot tonight. 3 for 3, 2 home runs. Called strike, 0-1. Dalton rushing came into tonight with 7 homers at the AAA level. The 0-1. Does he pair him tonight? Yes, he did, says Dexter Kelly, the home plate umpire. Well, it's one thing to win an award, as we talked about before, for the guy in Dalton rushing, but it's another thing to just show up and show out quite like this. 10-0 Oklahoma City. Top of the 5th inning. The 0-2. Powell behind home plate, off the sweets, and it makes its way down. Dalton rushing, a .303 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Darrell Hicks checks the rearview mirror, the 0-2. Just missed. And it is challenged. But it was interesting, as Humphreys was framing that, Dexter Kelly actually leaned over to get a look, and it hit the corner for strike 3. Well, he painted that corner. Brought to you by 5 Star Painting, proud sponsor of the Salt Lake Beast. Take a look at that. Yeah, he missed his spot. He hit the zone. That's a classic case where a home plate umpire makes a wrong call. That is not a bad call. This is where I love the challenge system, because Michael Darrell Hicks may have missed his spot, hit the zone. Dexter Kelly, with an obstructed view and a moving catcher, barely misses it. Lipsius takes for ball 1. Lipsius 0 for 2 with a base on balls and a run scored. It was great to see that the Bees can challenge in that situation, and then the call is correct. Swing and a miss, 1-1 to Lipsius. 4 strikeouts so far in the performance for Michael Darrell Hicks. 2 soft serve singles in this 5th inning. Worked his way into trouble. Popped up right side, and it's 1-2. 2 batters later, Cartaya is still there at second, and Oki is at first base. John Denver chorusing through the ballpark. Good times here at Smith's Ballpark. Michael Darrell Hicks, low, 2-2. Lipsius trying to keep this inning going. His team up 10-0, looking for more. Deuces Wild here in the 5th. Back towards the middle. Nice stab, Matheny. And the inning is done. Darrell Hicks into and out of some trouble. A strange inning. But he gets a key strikeout, a fly out, and a line out. And another donut on the board for Michael Darrell Hicks. Big thanks to our field crew doing such a masterful job, not just this year, but in all of the previous years at Smith's Ballpark. Brian Sukup, Jacob Fender, and the guys, top shelf work year in and year out. They have had such a wonderful crew that has made their way through there, and they shuffle the deck with new crew members time and time again. This fly ball is out to right, and Ward is there for out number 1, Chad Stevens. First pitch swinging. And it brings up Landon Wallace. But this field always looks spectacular. You come to the ballpark, you just can't get numb to it, right? The backdrop never gets old with the mountains, but then you look out at the different designs in the field that they put together. I love going out there every now and again. I'll go for different walks. So impressive how well they keep this field. It's just so well kept, day in and day out. It's really throughout the entire 365 days. I'll be here in the early morning hours at times, whether it's a media appearance or something else. Sure enough, there will be somebody out here getting some work done. Swinging a miss, strike three. Wallace is down. On strikes. They're 2 up, 2 down quickly here in the bottom of the 5th inning. But a guy in Brian Sukup takes immense pride in every little detail. If you want to be the very best at what you do, and he is, and I'm not just saying that, he has the hardware to prove it. The trophies are not going to tell you any lies. Caleb Ketchup 0 for 2 tonight. You have to take an unbelievable amount of pride in what you do, and it takes special focus and also expertise. Ground ball to the left side and through, a base hit. Caleb Ketchup aboard for the first time tonight. 2-out single. It'll bring up Willie Calhoun, who has taken over for Kyron Paris. But not only does Brian do a great job with what you see in terms of taking care of the yard, he does a great job in managing what takes place on when the tarp goes out there by understanding weather patterns and when we may get hit, how we may get hit. He is great with his preventive work as much as he is with everything else that he does. We just get a chance to see the final product. We're lucky for that. We don't get to see what goes into all of those hours, the early mornings and the late nights, well before that takes place. If you were to take all the people who have been a special part of this ballpark over the years, I can guarantee you nobody has spent more hours here than Brian Sukup. The total number of hours is unmatched. The culture here was special for so many different reasons, but passion happens to be right towards the top. And while he definitely hates on me for being a Michigan fan, we definitely have great admiration for each other and the work that he does. This pitch has been challenged. And we take a look at it. It was outside. Well, Brian Sukup's tremendous attention to detail. Also his ability to see around different corners, kind of find out the latest and best ways to do his job at the ultimate level. That's what he has been about. And it is no surprise to see the field in this kind of a great condition for that many years. The thing you love when you watch a guy like that go to work and you see his ending result, especially with the staff that will change over from time to time over the years, zero complacency. He has never had an ounce of a mindset to settle for anything other than the absolute best. Ball 4 to Willie Calhoun. Runners at first and second here. With 2 down in the bottom of the 5th. Bees threatened in the 4th. They stranded him with the bases loaded. Now they're hoping for better luck here in the 5th. Cole Tucker singled. He had the Bees' first hit. Was back in the 4th. 10-0 Oklahoma City. Tucker takes for strike 1. Many times the players who have come through here will always talk about how much they appreciate the work of Brian Sukup. They talk endlessly about that. They say, man, our field is the absolute. Outfielders love it. Pitchers love it. Infielders, they just say, no, you know that you can count on this field being at an optimal level. And these are little things players care about. You better believe it. Fouled over the screen, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Tucker, a .326 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Check swing, he didn't go. 6 for 15. When hitting with ducks on the pond and 2 out. He has a 2-2 count here. Wrobleski worked out of trouble in the 4th inning. And Wrobleski has a full count with 2 down here in the 5th. Head start for Ketchup at second and Willie Calhoun at first. Runners go. Ball 4. Bases loaded for the 2nd consecutive inning. That is the 3rd walk issued here by Wrobleski. Here comes Tucker Flint. Tucker Flint, 1 for 1 with the bases loaded. He doubled. He is 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position this year. But he has had some really big moments while being with the Salt Lake Bees. 4 doubles in this series. His debut here, a home run and a double. Looking for a big swing here in the 5th inning. A called strike, 1-1. Flint struck out to lead off the 2nd. He struck out also in the 4th. This pitch has been challenged. Right at the knees. Dexter Kelly had a great night in his earlier game of this series behind the plate. He's been rock solid again here tonight. Bounced foul to the right side. Bees down to their final strike once again here in this inning. The gun is at 94 for Wrobleski on the fastball. Flint hoping to keep this inning alive. Elliot Soto is on deck. It has been a tough night for the Salt Lake Bees. Down 10-zip. Bases loaded, bottom 5. Challenged. Oakey thought it was strike 3. Dexter Kelly called it ball 2. The replay review is going to go on and tell us that it was outside. Outside by a little ways, about 2 inches. Caleb Ketchup is at 3rd. Calhoun at 2nd. Tucker is at 1st. Tucker Flint, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and for the 2nd inning in a row, the Salt Lake Bees have left the bases loaded. We go to the 6th. Bees trail 10-0 on KMYU. There's Brian Sukup right there. That's usually the grimace and look on his face that he'll give you. Takes so much pride in his work. He's a great guy, great leader. That entire team, they work relentlessly out there. We appreciate everything that they've done, not just this year, but in every year at Smith's Ballpark. First pitch fouled off. As it is Ryan Ward, who has 2 homers on the night, leading off the 6th inning, 10-0, Oklahoma City in the lead. Ward has reached base all 3 times that he stepped into the box, and he has scored all 3. A called strike. Ryan Ward, who already leads the league in home runs, a solo blast in the 1st and another one in that 4th inning. It has kept this crowd quiet. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Boy, Michael Darrell Hicks continues to shine in his outing of relief here tonight. For Darrell Hicks, that is his 5th strikeout of the night in his 2 1/3 innings. And you love what Darrell Hicks did just that last inning in the 5th. 2 very softly hit singles. So 1st and 2nd, nobody out. He did more than just minimize the damage. He retired the next 3 and put up a scoreless frame. And as I was talking earlier tonight about his ability to not overthink what was a tough outing based on getting ground balls that found holes and just using the same approach and focusing on the next best right thing. And as manager Keith Johnson would say, keep the important stuff important. You know, if you're the Angels and you're continuing to build towards wanting to be a winner at a big level once again, which they had been in some previous decades, charging from third is Stevens, and he was trying to finish the play. Tough play for sure, a long way for him to go, and he would have had to have executed that perfectly, and there's no guarantee that he gets Outman at first base. It's a great hustle. Right as he was able to scoop and fire that, it is correctly ruled ahead. That's the third hit of the night here for James Outman. He's been fantastic in this series. That is his 10th hit of the series, as he is 3 for 4. Alan Trejo now to the plate. Trejo swings and misses. It goes through, goes to Humphries. Humphries looks to throw to second, but he held on. Humphries had time, I thought, to throw that ball to second if he goes with it right away. But maybe he thought that he was already going to get there. So a strike is called. Outman is at second base. Trejo, pop fly, left field. Wallace running in. It's out number 2. Well, for Darrell Hicks, as I was mentioning, is you want to try to go back to winning at a high level. There's a number of things that are going to come into play. And there's, at some point, some invisible acts of winning. And I think his mental approach, his confidence, and his maturity, we talk about mental toughness, but also the importance of mental fitness. I think Darrell Hicks has really put that on display. I think this is some of the invisible acts of winning that you're going to see if you want to get back to being at a premier level. Ron Washington has talked about that. He said, hey, when I was in this division, this was the team we were all trying to pattern ourselves after. And he wants to get them back to that. I think it's stuff like this that culturally starts to build within an organization. Gauthier, a bouncer, back towards the middle, behind the bag, Matheny. Another scoreless inning for Darrell Hicks. Fabulous work out of the pen for Michael Darrell Hicks. Be still trail 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Well above Atlanta by 2 games. Speaking of Atlanta, Braves and Marlins in Miami. First baseman Matt Olson with a trip around the bases in the top of the 7th, scoring Marcell Ozuna. Braves keep their playoff hopes alive. They win 6-2. We have a 10-0 game here tonight between the Salt Lake Bees and Oklahoma City. Dodson is the new pitcher on for OKC. All pitching changes brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union. Mountain America donates $25 in the fight against childhood cancer. They were a huge part of Go Gold last night. We appreciate them and their support in the fight. Soto down 0-2 in the count. Tanner Dodson, 6'1" right-hander from Sacramento, California. He's actually a switch hitter, though pitchers don't do much hitting anymore. Soto takes low, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Elliott flied out to right field in the 2nd. He's singled in the 4th inning. You want to talk about players who have enjoyed playing here. He has talked about that as much as anybody. Flares this to center. It's a 2-hit night now for Elliott Soto. Back-to-back singles for him. And Soto was aboard to lead off this 6th inning. Here's Shane Matheny. Love that. Soto to right field back in the 4th. Right back up the middle here in the 6th. Soto has quietly been, I think, a very dangerous base runner. He has 21 stolen bases. But when he's been taking off, he is such an intelligent base runner overall. He had a bizarre delayed steal that he completely faked out a catcher, and he went over the sequence on how he made it look like he was asleep at the wheel and that he was going to get backpicked at second base because he noticed the catcher's body language. So what he did was the next pitch, he gave the same body language himself to make the catcher believe he wasn't paying attention when in actuality he was, and then took off for third. And the way he broke that sequence down was terrific. And that comes with 13 years of playing this game at the professional level, kind of knowing the game within the game. Matheny reached with a walk back in the fourth. Salt Lake has no runs to show for it tonight, but they left the bases loaded in the fourth and the fifth. And I don't know if they cash in that they erase a 10-run deficit, but you have to wonder if they can get a couple 2-out hits in those innings. This could be a much different situation here in the sixth. The 1-2. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Shane Matheny. He had 21 games for Tri-City and promoted to the Bees back on September the 3rd. Bounces that through the runner's lane. Soto will return to first. For Matheny, 6 seasons in his career with the San Francisco Giants organization before arriving with the Bees. And of all teams that he faced up against, it was the Sacramento River Cats. And his Bees debut actually started as being a pitcher. He came on as a position player to pitch. And then he would hit in the bottom half. So here he is pitching against the AAA team from the organization that he had played for previously. It was a bizarre situation. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the pitchers overall tonight for Oklahoma City have just been lights out. Wroblewski's final line, he did walk 3. He gave up 3 hits, but 2 scoreless innings as the Bees stranded the bases loaded 2 innings in a row. He had 5 strikeouts. That's bounced softly towards Gauthier. He goes to Freeland, on to first, a double play. And the inning comes to a close. No runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Bees trailed 10-0 as we go to the 7th on KMYU. He had a weird little crack bat floater that landed right between Hicks and the second base bag. For Michael Darrell Hicks, this is his 4th inning of work. Swing and a miss, strike 1. He's given up 3 hits so far. And all 3 hits, you would say, were soft contact, including Cartier. It was very soft contact. And by the way, as a hitter, you definitely never apologize for it. You take it any way you can get it. But Darrell Hicks worked out of trouble in the 5th after giving up back-to-back singles. He worked around a 1-out single from Outman in the 6th. Fans chanting Chick-fil-A. They want Darrell Hicks to give him a free 5-piece. They need 1 more strike to make it happen. Hey, free Chick-fil-A. 1 victory in the books here tonight for Bees fans. It is the 5-piece that they get coming up on Monday. That is always a fun promotion. That's been another thing that's happened here at Smith's Ballpark over the previous years, more of the recent years. Okie is 3 for 3 tonight. Hard hit single, solo home run, and a softly hit single. One that he didn't even know where it was and then found it and realized it was out in right field. Chris Okie had 63 games with the Bees last year. Batted .281, had 6 home runs. He was 6 for 14 against Oklahoma City. Had a couple of games with the Halos. He's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. He played 12 games with the Reds the year before. Okie has reached base all 3 times tonight against his former team, and now make it all 4. So 2 singles, a homer, and a walk. This is his first game back in almost a month. He's had a nice night. So that's the first walk issued here for Michael Darrell Hicks. Here is Alex Freeland. This guy has been as dangerous as anybody could be lately. Freeland is hit by a pitch. Oh, that got him. He's down here for a second. Appears to be all right as he takes off the little shin guard. Darrell Hicks, who has had great command here in the first 3 innings of work this 4th inning. He now issued a 4-pitch walk to Oki and hit Alex Freeland. So 2 on, nobody out. Darrell Hicks has faced this so far in his performance. Back in the 5th, he retired the next 3 in a row. That included a strikeout against Dalton Rushing. Rushing with 3 hits before that, 2 of those were home runs. Shane Lukes is out there to talk with Michael Darrell Hicks. And you want to talk about history in this ballpark? Well, Shane Lukes is a big part of that history. Lukes was a part of a 2018 that started 22-1. It was an amazing beginning to the year. They went 8-0 on the road, then lost the first home game, and then stepped up to win the next 7 there at home and stormed their way to that 22-1 start. It was absolutely tremendous. When talking with him about that, he said there was nothing like showing up to the ballpark and just knowing you were going to win. They just had this feeling about the way things were going to go, and you could sense that being around them. I mean, every single night, whether they were winning, losing, they could have a bullpen day. You just felt like, yeah, they'll find a way to win. It was a great collective performance. They would go on to win the division that year, but as it can usually happen at all different levels of the minor leagues, that roster was very different towards the end than it was at the beginning. The 0-1 is outside. For the Bees this year, one of the consistent staples on their roster has been the catchers. Humphreys in the 2 spot tonight. Sets up. The inside part of the plate, it's grounded foul. Count is 1-2. Humphreys has been a really big part of earning that trust from a number of different pitchers, and Chad Wallach has been a big part of that. Anthony Mulrine can sense that they are truly an extension of the staff, and their work to build confidence within the guys out there on the mound, to know what they like, to know what they don't like. John Buck did a great job of breaking that down a couple of weeks ago when he was on with us. The count is 2-2. Just said you love to get a feel for what they're all about, what they like to throw, what they don't like to throw, what they're best at, and then earning that trust where you can get really honest with them. 2-2. Rushing towards the middle. Oh, what a pick, Matheny. Soto, double play. Fabulous work, Matheny and Soto in the middle. Bottom of the 7th inning, new pitcher on for Oklahoma City here tonight, Connor Brogdon. 6'6" right-hander from Clovis, California. He was with the Phillies last year. And Brogdon steps in with a 10-0 lead for Oklahoma City. Well, they jumped all over Salt Lake in the early innings. 3 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the 4th inning. Chad Stevens 0 for 2 so far tonight. The Bees have put together just 4 hits up to this point. A little flare to right field, and the first hit of the night for Chad Stevens. That's his first hit. Also in the series, he was 0 for 9 before that swing of the bat. Well, the Bees have been able to start an inning well. They've been able to put together some offensive production. They have yet to score. They left the bases loaded in the 4th and the 5th inning of this ballgame. They had a leadoff single in the 6th. It has been a really tough night overall, though, with trying to put tallies up there on the board. The Bees have gone 8 straight games without a home run. Wallace takes inside. This is a team that, in that whole series against Oklahoma City back in May, went without a home run. So not only are they looking for their first home run in 8 games, they're looking for their first home run against Oklahoma City, not just in this series, but throughout 2024. This is their 11th game against them. I remember that road trip so well. The Bees were 4-7 overall, but they felt like they were doing so many other things really well. The defense was playing well. They were getting some quality starts out of starting pitchers. You could see the rotation coming together. A number of guys were making a great campaign to support the back part of that rotation, which many guys would eventually get a chance. Davis Daniel, Zach Plesac at the time, Kenny Rosenberg. The pitch called strike 2. Brogdon had a scoreless inning of work of game 2 in this series. That was back when Oklahoma City won 20-6. A strikeout here against Landon Wallace. 1 out, 1 on. Wallace with a walk and 2 Ks tonight. Here's Caleb Ketchup, who singled back in the 5th inning. Well, Caleb Ketchup is 4 for 19 in the series. Chad Stevens over there at first base, 2 for 3 in stolen bases. That only time he was caught stealing was actually a strange moment where there was a foul tip into the glove of the catcher and he had walked into the tag at second. He at the moment had thought the ball was actually fouled off. 1-0. Grounded sharply but foul past the third base bag. One thing that has happened for the Bees, a couple of things with a number of new guys stepping in to this team. Just a couple of base running mistakes here and there, mostly on some of those road trips, and then communication in the outfield. It's amazing how easy guys like Jason Martin, Bryce Teodosio, Jordan Adams had made some of that look. It really just shows how exceptional those players are. Jack Lopez, Jake Marisnik go into it as well. So while a number of young players have had a great chance at this level and have done some really positive things, there's also some growing pains and experience that come with it. Ketchup down the line and left. It is fair and headed for the corner. Here comes Stevens around third. He's going to score, and the Bees are on the board here in the bottom of the 7th. RBI double, Caleb Ketchup. Well, for Caleb Ketchup, that is his first double. As a member of the Salt Lake Bees, he has tripled with this team. It's the 3rd run he's driven in. And that is his 2nd hit here of the night. And that is also great news for you, because the Bees just did a double. That means you double the fun with your free double cheeseburger with any purchase only in the McDonald's app. Valid one time the day following a Bees double through September 30th at participating McDonald's. You must opt into rewards. It excludes tax and excludes delivery. Willie Calhoun, left-hand batter. 1 out, 1 on. Calhoun takes for ball 1. That was a safe at home moment. It's brought to you by LVT. Help keep your customers and employees safe with LVT. Calhoun takes inside. Willie Calhoun took over for Kyron Paris. When Paris struck out in the 4th inning, he grimaced and was leaning over. He has not returned since. Calhoun walked in the 5th, but he was stranded. 3-0. Connor Brogdon with his team up 10-1. This is not the first time tonight the Bees have threatened, though. Had some big threats on the night. Came up empty in the fourth and the fifth. They've plated one here in the seventh. Calhoun a base on balls, and they're hoping for more here in the late innings. Here is Cole Tucker. Switch hitter will go from the left-hand side. Tucker tonight struck out in the first. He singled in the fourth. That was the first hit of the game for the Bees, and he walked in the fifth inning. First pitch swinging, grounds it foul, and grounds it hard. Well, nice save down the line over there. Well, with that thing coming over there, I think that's Travis McGregor. He didn't field it all that well, but he still did his job. That's all that matters is you're, protecting Anthony Mulrine. 0-2. I mean, you'd probably get an error if it was a play that needed to be made, but at the end of the day, the job was done. The kick save and a beauty. McGregor last night who had some important moments, including a big pickoff. 0-2, crack bat, softly hit towards the second baseman, Gauthier, and he's not in time. Cole Tucker's aboard, and the bases are loaded. Well, softly hit, and it was deadened because the bat had cracked. Gauthier hustling over. And the play at first, that throw takes Lipsius off the bat. So Lipsius intelligently doing what he can to get that ball and make sure nobody else advances another 90 feet. Bases loaded, one out. Tucker Flint low. Flint has been the master of extra base hits in this ballpark. Looking for his first hit tonight. 0 for 3 with a trio of strikeouts. Ahead in the count, 2-0. 10 runs, 14 hits, no errors for Oklahoma City. 1 run, 7 hits, no errors for the Bees. Flint takes a cold strike. Tucker Flint already was up to bat with the bases loaded tonight. He struck out. Flint fouls at left side. He's 1 for 2 this year with the bases loaded. That one hit was a 2-bagger. And that was last night. Flint 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. The count is now full. 1 out. Crowd trying to make some noise here tonight with the Bees down big. Sacks full, count full. Flint fouls it back, will do it again. Epic Sax playing over the speakers right now. Soto with another catch over there on that foul ball. He's on deck. He's hoping to step up with the score being different than it is right now. What does Flint have here? On the 3-2 from Brogdon. Inside, ball 4. That'll get it done. 10-2 ball game. We've seen some drama in this ballpark. That includes a grand slam this year from Elliott Soto. Soto is stepping to the plate. No moment more dramatic than the grand slam from Elliott Soto that took place on Mother's Day. He hit that grand slam on a day where he wore pink gloves with pink socks, and he was honoring his mother Ursula that afternoon. One of the more memorable moments ever in this ballpark took place in its final season. And Elliot Soto has talked about that moment so many times, saying there was just something special about that day, about this ballpark, about those mountains. He said you could just feel it. And while this has been the season he's played here, it has meant a lot to him. Elliot Soto, 3 for 17 or 4 for 18, batting with the bases loaded so far this year. He also has a triple, and that was a walk-off three-bagger. Takes for strike one. Ten to 2 ball game, bottom of the 7th, one out. Soto went around. It's 0-2. Soto down in the count, 0-2. Bees trailing in the game, 10-2. Brogdon, the 4th pitcher employed tonight by Oklahoma City, has given up a pair so far. And has a big strikeout here with the bases loaded. 2 down, here's Shane Matheny. Shane Matheny, so far this year, 7 for 16. Hitting with runners in scoring position. He is 2 for 4, batting with the bases loaded. Fouled back, 0-1. The Bees at some point, if they're going to make this interesting, are going to need that huge swing of the bat. It has eluded them for 8 straight games. 8 in a row without a home run. This is the 11th time they played Oklahoma City. They do not have a home run against them. In the dirt, 1-1. And while they have had some games, they've been able to nickel and dime their way to some wins, like they did last night. A solid, all-around, great team performance and a 6-4 victory. And some of those games like this one tonight, you're going to need cash at some point. Matheny trying to cash in now. Inside, 2-1. Matheny is 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position and 2 down. That includes a double and 5 runs batted in. A mild hush over the crowd as Matheny fouls it off of himself. The Bees are down to their final strike here in the 7th. Matheny steps back in. The final night game here at this ballpark. A great crowd on hand. A big deficit at the moment. Matheny trying to cut into it. The Bees left the bases loaded in the 4th and the 5th. And also now in the 7th. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the Bees played a pair, but they leave 3. We go to the 8th. Salt Lake trails 10-2. Well, the sing-alongs here have been unbeatable all season long. Pumble having a great time singing Disney's Frozen, and the fans joining him as a wonderful chorus. A number of different songs that they sing along to, so make sure you're a part of that. You only have one more day to do that. That is tomorrow, as we have the finale for this season and for Smith's Ballpark, a 1 o'clock matinee tomorrow afternoon. You have to be here for it. $5 tickets as well. Can't miss out. SLBs.com. Andre Lipsius leads off the inning, 0 for 3. Walked and scored in the 2nd. Yvonne Armstrong is in the game for the Bees. takes over for Michael Darrell Hicks. He pitched 4 scoreless frames of relief. Lipsius, fly ball to right field. There is Ketchup. And we have one down in the top of the 8th inning. To bring up Ryan Ward. Well, the late inning entertainment is always great. Our staff makes sure that from innings 1 through 9, you're going to have a great time. Well, you even get a great time before then with the brunch that comes with tomorrow's games. So get your tickets at slbs.com. Bark in the Park. I mean, you want to talk about just moving all the chips to the middle for that final game. We are all in. Called strike to Ryan Ward. I mean, so bring your dog, go to brunch, go out on the field after the game, run the bases. Not to mention perfect weather. You can't think of a better way for this to end out than the way the weather is going to be. A gorgeous Sunday afternoon, $5 tickets, Bark in the Park, the brunch. I mean, other than that, we got nothing. A historic game to go with it. It's down the left field side. Here's Wallace by the line. 2 down. Great to see Yvonne Armstrong out there once again. This is a guy who, talk about approach, he feels like he has really started to master his approach to mental preparation routine. He's talked to me a lot about that. Takes huge pride in trying to master himself, be the best version of himself. James Outman takes for ball 1. Outman 3 for 4 today with a trio of singles. But Yvonne Armstrong said it all starts with sleep. He gets very, I should say, a strict routine on sleep. When he starts his sleep, how deep his sleep is, how long his sleep happens to be. He said it all starts with that, then moves into hydration, piece by piece. So if you want to be the best version of yourself, you got to be honest about what's working and what's not, and where it starts. He said, boy, you get good rest, and all of a sudden, the first domino falls the right way. Love how poised he is, how incredibly honest he is. The 1-2 is hit high and deep to right. Going back on his catch-up, and it's gone. 6 home runs on the night for Oklahoma City, and now for Outman, he has at least 1 extra base hit in each of his last 6 games. A terrific offensive night for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, and they lead it 11-2. So James Outman, that is his 4th hit of the evening. He has 10 extra base hits in his last 11 games. Alan Trejo is 1 for 4 tonight. For Oklahoma City, they've had timely help from a number of different areas. That ball hit the lip of the grass, rolled its way to Soto. Nice adjustment to retire the side. But Oklahoma City, they get another run on a solo blast from Outman. 11-2 the score. They had 4 pitchers take the mound during that frame. Leading it off, Zach Humphreys. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. So Choi, the starter, was chased in that 6th inning. Wrobleski came in, retired the first batter he faced, gave up 2. Then Little came in, he gave up 5 runs in 3 hits. He walked 2, he did not record an out. Mark Amicone, the longtime general manager and president of the Bees, he was good luck that night, as the Bees scored 9 runs in that 6th inning. Well, they trail by 9 right now. Zach Humphreys 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts, and grounded into a double play. Looking to get aboard for the first time tonight. High bouncer, but playing it well is Gauthier by the second base bag. 1 down. Here comes Chad Stevens. Gauthier was well positioned on that play and ready for it. Reminder to join us on all forms of social media at Salt Lake Bees and stay connected to everything involving the team. Check out the latest interviews and reports from Sammy Miller and stay up to date on the latest team promotions and exciting events coming up. It's all right there on all forms of social media. Just go to @Salt Lake Bees. Chad Stevens takes up and in. Singleton scored back in the 7th inning, and while the Bees did score in the 7th, they left the bases loaded for the 3rd time of the night. Salt Lake tonight 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They have stranded 10. Oklahoma City 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They've stranded 7. 6 home runs on the night for Oklahoma City. They've been at another level when it comes to the long ball. 21 of them in their last 10 games. Count is even at 2 apiece. For Chad Stevens, that single in the 7th was also his first hit of the series. Now he has his 2nd hit of the series. Floats one out to left field. 1 out, 1 on in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here comes Landon Wallace. While we have featured so many things in this ballpark, the train, the mountains, we've talked a lot about somebody's favorite concession food item, whatever it might be. The number one reason why a ballpark becomes so incredibly special to a family is because of the people that they share the experiences with. Landon Wallace takes outside. When talking with fans on the concourse before games, whether it be also during interviews or having a chance to speak to somebody out in the public, 99 times out of 100, when they talk about why this place is so special to them, it was because of somebody they love. And sometimes that somebody they love is no longer with us. But it was the first time they were brought to a game. They may not remember the final score, who hit what home run, or how many games they went to exactly, maybe what their record was in the games they attended. But what they never forgot is what they felt while they were here. 97 years of being in this place, most fans have multiple generations that has existed. Called strike 3 to Wallace. 3rd time tonight he's been down on strikes. 2 out here in the 8th. But watching these fans tell me these stories, their eyes water up, because immediately they take me right back to when it was. Maybe it was 1975. Maybe it was when the Bees were here originally. Maybe it was a Gulls game, a Trappers game, or a Buzz game. They all take you back there. Where they sat, what the night was like, and they remembered what they had felt. And then they bring their kids to the game. And all year you could feel that there was something special because they knew this was the final season of this happening. And in that moment they knew it was important. But now, since the years have passed on, those moments are even more important. And when that loved one has left, it's indescribable how special those moments are. They're just felt simply with emotion. The souvenirs, the attire, maybe a shirt, a jersey, a hat. Something they took away from those moments. Maybe it was a collectible helmet that the ice cream went into. Every blade of grass out there tells a story. Every seat out there tells a story. 1300 South in West Temple will have a history and a meaning to every person that's ever been here, especially to that guy. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning is done. We go to the 9th. Bees trail 11-2 on KMYU. Souvenir City, that's for the warm-ups. Kiddos line up right there on the wall, and they hope for the warm-up ball from one of the outfielders to be tossed out to their direction. Now that's on the right field side. The left field side is almost completely open because they're getting ready for the eventual post-game fireworks. Final inning of the final night game for the Bees at this ballpark. First pitch is a cold strike to Austin Gauthier. Gauthier tonight is 0 for 4. Yvonne Armstrong, his second inning of work, gave up a solo homer to James Outman in the 8th. But retired the other 3 that he faced. Coming up tomorrow, 1:05 first pitch. Make sure to be here with us. It'll be Davis Daniel against Yun Il Choi. That's what's next. And it's brought to you by University of Utah Health, the trusted healthcare provider for the Bees family and your family. Gauthier through the right side. A base hit. That is the 16th hit of the night for Oklahoma City. They have had some explosive offensive performances in this series, and tonight is another one of them. Diego Cartaya, 1 for 4. So far in the series, 2 for 11. Takes for ball 1. The Bees got down early tonight. Oklahoma City had 3 in the first inning and then 4 more in the second, 2 in the third. They have homered 6 total times tonight to rack up their 11 runs. They continue to be one of the best teams recently with the long ball. That one got him. So runners at first and second here with nobody out as Cartaya is hit by a pitch. It'll bring up Chris Oakey. Chris Oakey, as we mentioned, was with the Bees last year. Had 63 games with this team. This ballpark, I'm sure, means something to him as well. He played his college ball at Clemson. His dad was a college football player. His mom was a cheerleader at Clemson. So happy for Chris Oakey to be able to finish out this series here, because he was out since August the 23rd, and it's his first game back. He has reached base all 4 times, 2 singles, a solo homer, and a base on balls. Oakey takes for another strike. It's 1-2. And also for Oakey, before coming back into this one, his previous 15 games, he had batted just 190. Soft bouncer to third. Stevens got to hurry. Wild to the right. It's going to score another run. May call it an infield single, but for sure E5 at very least to score Gauthier from second base. On the play, Cartaya went first to third. And Oakey is on base for the 5th time tonight. (12-2) the score here in this top of the 9th inning. Alex Freeland has homered in each of his last 3 games. This will be an RBI single to center field. It's a 13-2 lead. Alex Freeland with his second knock of the night. That is hit number 18 on the evening for Oklahoma City. Well, Dalton Rushing has 2 of the 6 home runs for Oklahoma City tonight. 13-2 the score. Fans hanging in there for the fireworks tonight. Kids also get to run around the bases after the fireworks this evening. And your kids get to run around the bases coming up tomorrow. So make sure to be here with us for all the fun and festivities. If you come to the game tomorrow, $5 tickets. I've talked about that plenty, but get here early. I mean, get here early, get your food in, get settled, get ready for the great pregame festivities. The 0-1 is outside. Popped up foul behind home plate. And it's 1-2. But that's one of those where, yeah, you make plans to get there early, get settled, get ready for what will be a beautiful afternoon. We'll have it for you here on KMYU. I would love to see so many of you in this stadium. The 1-2. Right back to Armstrong. Nice grab, throw to first. It's wild. And it bounces up onto the netting over the short sidewall into the bullpen. Holding at third base on the play is going to be Oki. Freeland moved up to second. Great defensive play by Armstrong, but it is going to be E1 as well. Now, Soto was trying to say that on this play, the runner at second base, Oki, did not tag. We would have to see that again. Manager Keith Johnson is also out there arguing. He's saying that he did not tag up on this play. Now they're going to ask for some help. Dexter Kelly, Ty Krause, Edwin Jimenez may come together. I did not get a great look. It was obvious on the play that Freeland had to get back, but what I did not see is whether or not Oki tagged up and took off for third base. Let's take a look at this. We don't have a look at this from here. That's not a clean enough look. We're still trying to find the look, and the ruling on the field here is going to stand. It was a hot shot right back at him. He makes the catch. Oki is off the bag, and we cannot tell if he went back to second before taking off for third. Soto was very sure that he did not. Here's Lipsius. Fouled off, 0-1. Good job by Armstrong trying to make the play to first, but just didn't quite get the grip on it. We tried to take a look at it from here. Well, that throw gets away. Oh, he absolutely did not tag up. Oh, that was blatant. That is a huge miscue. And now in an 11-run game, it most likely is not something that's going to come back to be the deciding play. But out of the missed calls that you will see, and I'm very honest about that, the huge difference between a missed call, or say a wrong call and a bad call, that is a terrible miss. Catch up and right. Makes the catch. Oki will tag and hold. There at third base. Well, this time he did tag, but he held up. He really got away with one there. When Soto was over there arguing it, I knew for sure in some 11-run game, he's not just going to be out there to just beg for a call. And manager Keith Johnson was all over that too. And showing that replay, we got a great look at that. There was no doubt. So everything went Oki's way tonight. Ryan Ward fouls this back. I mean, Oki ended up with a 4-hit night, including a home run. He reached base 5 times, and he even got away without tagging up. The 0-1. Popped up foul. And it's 0-2. That would have been a very strange thing. You would have had a 1-4-6 double play and an E1 as well. It will not matter, as that run did not score. Ground out to Matheny. The inning is done. Last call for the Bees, down 11 as we go to the bottom of the ninth. 2 tonight against Oklahoma City. And the Bees, even with this series with OKC at 2-2 coming into tonight, unless they put together a massive rally this evening, are going to try to salvage the split tomorrow. Remind you, it'll be a 1:05 first pitch. We'll be on the air at 1 o'clock, so make sure to join us here on KMYU or come on out to the ballpark. Nick Ramirez, the new pitcher, on for Oklahoma City. It is Willie Calhoun to lead things off in this bottom of the ninth. He walked in the 5th and also in the 7th. Well, I tell you, tomorrow's matinee is going to be great. The night games were here. The night games here were always fun as well, especially those fireworks games. You could always anticipate it. You know, you hope the team would win. If they didn't, you knew you had some fun coming up with the post-game show and the fireworks after. Softly hit to Gauthier at second. 1 down. Cole Tucker now coming to the plate. He's reached base the last 3 times that he stepped into the box. A single, a walk, and a single. The Bees, who have just 2 runs on the night, but left the bases loaded in the 4th, the 5th, and the 7th. But those fireworks nights were fun. I would intentionally go and get tickets on the berm because I would hope that they would let us on the field. That was an exciting time. Tucker to left field. Rushing is there, 2 down here in the bottom of the ninth. That is another little characteristic that you would forget. The berm is so great because it seats so many people that all of a sudden you get to watch the fireworks from being down on the field. And when you're down there, it just felt cool to be in the outfield, to lay out the blankets, lay back and watch them at that point. You go to any other ballpark, everyone has to watch the fireworks from where they sit. Sharp grounded to short, that's going to do it. Freeland to first, and the ball game is over. What a performance from Oklahoma City. 13 runs to go with 18 hits.